Love, exciting and
exciting and
new.
come
Come
aboard.
aboard. We're
We're
expecting
expecting
you.
you.
Love,
Love,
life's sweetest reward. Let it flow. It floats back to you. The love boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The love boat promises something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new sober romance.
Woo, woo. Okay.
You're welcome. You're welcome
Yeah,
for that,
that was
everyone. I'm not going to quit my day job. I actually can't believe I'm getting paid to do this. It's wild.
I know, right?
Welcome to the Sober Curator podcast, where sobriety isn't just a lifestyle choice, it's the ultimate life hack. I'm Elise Bryson, your fearless guide to a world where hangovers are canceled, fun is mandatory, and we still know how to shut down a dance floor, just with better shoes.
And I'm Tamara Routley, aka T-Bouge, your co-pilot, chaos coordinator, and the one who keeps Elise from turning this podcast into a full-blown reality show. Buckle up, sober party people.
From lifestyle and travel to pop culture and zero-proof cocktails, we're serving up the stories, trends, and guests that prove sobriety isn't just about what you're missing. It's about finally remembering where you left your keys. Let's get the party started. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sober Curator podcast. I'm your host, Elise Bryson, and today we're diving into a topic that's all about adventure, community, and seeing the world through a sober lens. Literally. If you've ever thought that travel and sobriety don't mix, well, today's guest is here to change your mind. We're talking about vibrant destinations, incredible experiences, and why the best kind of trip isn't found at the bottom of a cocktail glass. Guess who's here today? Joining us today is Darci Murray, the founder of Hooked Alcohol-Free Travel. For the past 3 years, Darci has been curating, that's my favorite word, incredible global trips for like-minded, sober travelers who want to experience the world without booze. She's proving that travel is way more than bar hopping. It's about color, culture, flavors, those pinch-me moments that you actually remember the next day. And she's got something big coming up, a sober cruise in July 2025, and we're getting the inside scoop today. Welcome, Darci.
Hello. Thank you for having me. Did you just roll that off the tip of your tongue?
I just rolled it off.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, she's flying by the seat of her pants.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Nope.
Travel jokes. Travel jokes.
I'm on it.
Yeah, T-Bouge. Well, let's get into it. Here's what I want to start out with, Darci, because we know each other, but we don't actually know each other that well. So I was really looking forward to today's conversation because I was like, ooh, I get to ask her whatever I want. I don't think I know about like the beginning of your sobriety journey and like the pivotal moment when you were like, I'm going to choose a different way to live my life. And I don't need to hear like all of it, but like what got you on this journey?
Oh, so we're going to go like dark right away? Okay.
No, we don't have to go dark. You can keep it PG-13.
We're going to start when it got light.
Okay, because the beginning was that day was the first day was not a good day. So.
Oh, yeah, we don't need to go there. No. What happened the next day? Day number 2.
Day number 2. Okay, so my background. First, I'm a mom. I have 4 kids, and I have
4
boys. Yeah, boys.
4 boys.
4. Our boys.
That must have been a really smelly house. I'm sorry, but I have one boy and woo.
Well, they are 13, 15, 17, and 19. I do co-parent, so they go back and forth. But I mean, like a lot of us, they are the reason that I quit drinking for sure. Right. So
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
keep it light and airy and keep it all the messy, yeah, it was just, it came to a time where alcohol was no longer serving a purpose for me. It was a coping mechanism that was no longer working and it was affecting my children. So I needed to make a decision. If I want to be the best mom possible, I need to quit drinking. There we go. That's clean, right?
That's super clean. And that's just how it happens. I just made a decision and that was that.
That was that. So, but in the journey of that, like we were just talking about, I hung on to my shame for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'll tell you a cute story. I have this car and it's a Kia. It's nothing extravagant, right? But it has a monster sticker on the side and it said travel because you can. So very marked, right? Like people from my kids' school would see where I was going, yada, yada, right? So I would park my car literally like a block away from AA meetings and walk in with my hoodie. It didn't matter the weather.
Incognito.
I just didn't want to be seen and associated with a person that had an issue, right? So that being said, I held on to my shame for a really long time. And I was just online, as we all are these days. And one of my girlfriends that I really, really respected, she had launched a coaching business, like a sober coaching business. And I touched base with her and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that you were leading this lifestyle. Right. So we went out for coffee and she's very entrepreneurial type woman. And she's like, well, let's take a trip together. And then she's like, let's invite a whole bunch of women. Like this, make it a girls' trip, right? A girls' sober trip. And I was like, because I have a couple of male friends that I'm really close to that have really enhanced my journey. And I'm like, why are we leaving out half the population? Let's just launch like a completely sober travel company. So in the span of, a 20-minute coffee, Hooked was born.
Wow. I like your
Yeah,
style. I like your style. So you were not in travel as a business prior to getting sober? You were just a
I was.
traveler?
I've
Oh,
always
you
been a
were.
travel agent.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my mom owns a travel agency that I've worked for 20 years. And Hooked is a sub company within that. But going back to carrying the shame, my gosh, like opening Hooked has completely changed me as a person, right? It's like from holding on to that shame for no reason. I don't know why I was doing that in the first place, and creating Hooked and having something that I'm just so incredibly proud of, right? Like I've created a space for like minded people to enhance their lives through travel, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if travel is a good experience or a bad experience. Travel is not all unicorns and rainbows. Like stuff happens, right? and but we learn and grow through those experiences no matter what. So it's just
Mhm,
such a
mhm.
cool avenue for the self-development journey.
And so how long has Hooked been hooked?
Hooked has been hooking people
Yeah, how long has
in.
Hooked been hooking?
But Hook has been hooking for 3 years and 4 months now.
So
3 years and 4 months.
you kinda started it, like, in pandemic era then, or
I
right
did.
after, like, right when we're coming out, kind of?
For the first come out is when we launched it. We had a very long lead time to the first trip. So we launched in October 2021, but we didn't actually travel on our first trip until September 2022. So there was
Okay,
a
that makes
lot
sense.
of, yeah, a lot of, just formalizing the philosophy and where do we sit in our niche and just advertising Iceland for a long time.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. Fun fact, Darcy, I too started my career in travel. I went to the International Airline Academy in Vancouver, Washington, not BC. When I was 19, I had dropped out of college for reasons we don't need to get into. That's a whole nother episode. But I went to this 3-month course and then got a job at United Airlines. And I just thought it was going to be amazing, except I was drunk all the time, so it didn't really work out that way, but I love travel. I love travel. My bags are currently packed. Just tell me where we're going. Like, tell me where we're going.
And with alcohol-free travel, everyone's actually gonna remember the whole trip.
Yeah.
Like, I had never been to an all-inclusive prior to getting sober, but being at an all-inclusive and watching people drink their faces off all day long, and the stuff they get into and the trouble they get into, and their evenings cut short, they fall in the pool, they get hurt. Last time there was 2 grown men in front of their children fighting, like, I look at those and I'm like, are you gonna look back to that trip and go, "Man, that was a good time," because I guarantee you half of them aren't gonna remember it, right? So it's refreshing that we're not putting the focus on having to drink because really, I mean, a lot of all-inclusives, that is what they promote. Like, you can't go anywhere without them having a bottle in front of you or encouraging you to drink, but you don't even need it. Like, not drinking should be normalized, you know what I mean?
I'm curious what you both think about paying for an all-inclusive when you're not consuming any alcohol. Do you feel like you should have a discount?
No,
Darcy's like, "No,
sorry.
that's not how it works.
Do you want to
Not
hear?
how it works." Get me, I do wanna hear. I do wanna hear.
No, no, but seriously, like you got to think about staffing. Okay. So one bartender can service 70 people sitting on their behinds and drinking a cocktail, right? But us people that don't drink, we're out doing the archery classes, we're doing the salsa, we're taking the excursions. And guess what? All of a sudden, your staff ratio is like 1 to 5, right?
Mm.
So the people that are doing things need the leaders to, follow. And the people that are sitting on their butts drinking really aren't costing that much money at all.
Well, and Darcy, I don't know, you might know this, but I did hear somewhere that it actually costs less in those countries for the alcohol than it does for the mixers. So
Mm.
people drinking alcohol, it actually does cost the resort less for those alcohol than it does
Oh,
for
I believe that.
the
I've
fruit
never
juices
heard that
and stuff.
before, but I
Yeah,
believe that. Yeah,
yeah,
I've always
That
taken it from a staffing ratio, right?
totally.
yeah, that makes sense. That totally makes sense. Yes, when I look back, I got sober at 30. So I didn't have a lot of travel in experience because I was a single mom, very limited budget. But I did have a handful of trips to Vegas. And I'm now going to sound like an old lady, but this is before I was using disposable cameras that you had to like get the film developed, right? Everybody remember
Right.
that? And there were so many times we would go and get the film developed, and I would get these pictures back, and I was like, "What? I don't remember any of this, like, any of it." And, a lot of those pictures will never see the light of day, to be clear.
Well, and the fact that most of those pictures, you only got the top of people's heads. Their whole body was
Oh,
actually missing.
totally, or my
And you didn't
finger was
know
in it.
until
Yeah.
after.
Okay, so you love travel. What do you have, like, favorite places that, like, you could just go there again and again and again and again and again?
Oh, come on. That's so loaded. Yeah. I mean, I
Well,
would go
we're not
anywhere.
loaded, so tell me about it.
Yeah, I can't think of a destination that I wouldn't go back to because I've always done touch point travel. I've never really immersed myself into like a destination for 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm.
And that being because I do have multiple children, I don't have time yet. So maybe when I'm older, I might pick an island in Greece and just really, hunker down into that culture. But because most of my trips have been taster trips, I just want to go back. I mean, Tanzania, amazing for animals. The Maldives, amazing for beauty. Canada, amazing for nature. Woo-hoo.
Oh,
Uh,
Canada.
See, one place I wouldn't go back, at least, and I'm not trying to slam
United
your Vegas
States,
trips, but
Washington.
no,
Oh,
no,
Vegas?
just Vegas.
I've actually been to Vegas now more times sober than I ever went drunk. And granted, the first time I went, I don't remember how many years sober I was, but it was a lot. It was a lot. I thought I was prepared, but I just didn't. I forgot about how overwhelming your senses get, and I had never paid attention to the overwhelming smells before.
Mhm.
And so, but the more that I went and the longer I was sober. I got a lot more confident. And I went, I don't know, a year ago and had a blast. And I was actually there for 6 days, which, to be clear, that is like 800 years in Vegas time. That is way too long. But there are actually a lot of fun things to do there. But it's not, I don't go there out of choice anymore. It's because I have to be there for some kind of reason, a conference or something.
Well, and the last time I actually went to Vegas, we went to an ice bar and they had mocktails. I mean, it was outrageous how much you pay to get into these places. But, they gave you the whole robe and you have the hat and the boots and everything. And we actually had such a good time. And, after I was smiling so much because everybody I was there, it was a mix of people who drank, socially, I'm going to say, not to get drunk, and those of us who didn't. And because of the cold, we came out, we couldn't stop smiling because our cheeks were so, just molded in that permanent smile. But we had a really good time. And I never thought I'd want to go to a bar in Vegas because, Elise, I did 7 days once and I thought my liver was going to go.
But you did 7 days drinking?
I did 7 days drinking and I couldn't even stop by the duty free on the way home.
You're hardcore.
That was back in the hardcore days. But
was the ice bar at Mandalay Bay?
I believe it was, yes.
Yeah. Been there.
Good
Do
time.
you want to say something on Vegas?
Yeah.
Because, that's a personal choice, but you've heard me say full sensory activities. Vegas is loaded with full sensory activities, and it's actually got a heap to do for the alcohol-free traveler. But I wanted to touch base on just Vegas in general. So cycle back like a year ago, okay? I was trying to sell this trip to Morocco, and I thought it was like the perfect alcohol-free destination, and I still do. And I still actually want to take a hook trip to Morocco. It's got sun, it's got camels, it's got spices, it's got, crafts, it's like got mosque bells. It's amazing, right? But I couldn't understand why I wasn't having any action on this Morocco itinerary. So I hosted at my local alcohol-free bottle shop a travel focus group and sober travel focus group, right? And I bought everybody a mocktail that showed up, and we just sat down for like an hour and talked about where do people want to go? Because clearly I'm doing something wrong and I own this alcohol-free travel company. And what came out of that meeting was just amazing. So they're like, oh, well, we'd really like to go to Ireland. How about some cruises? Greece would be amazing. Italy. I'm like, Italy is wine. Greece is ouzo. Cruises are like all inclusive. And Ireland is beer. And then one guy popped up and he's like, well, what about Vegas? I'm like, you guys are really throwing me off, right? Like I'm amazed and I'm grateful for this meeting. Absolutely. And what I learned from that is the alcohol-free traveler just wants to be included. It's about inclusiveness.
There it is.
Right?
Yeah.
We want to go to all the same places that everybody else does, but we want just that minor little twist of being in a community of like-minded people, not having the happy hour wasted and doing, nothing. And seeing as much as we can absolutely see with all our senses intact. So great meeting, right? Like the next day I launched a cruise and
that was worth all the mocktails you paid. That was worth it.
Totally, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's, which serves as such a good reminder though, just stop assuming that we know what people want. Ask them. If you ask them, they will tell you. Yeah. Totally.
For sure.
Okay. Well, speaking of cruises, I hear you have one coming up later this year.
Oh, really? Yes, we do.
A little
July
birdie
8th.
might have told me.
Okay, well, that might be because you're coming with us.
Oh, I am. It's my 50th birthday extravaganza, which was not planned, by the way. Was not planned.
Oh, I know. I was on that phone call. You just pieced it together. You're like, oh.
Wait a minute. Well, I'm so excited. Okay, I will admit I'm a cruising virgin. I've never been on a cruise. Never.
Okay. Well, Princess is doing, it's turned out that Princess is now offering an extremely amazing alcohol-free program. So they've got like Blake's line of alcohol-free beverages on board, and they've got a whole bunch of different spirits. So I am really excited because I've been attracted to Virgin Voyages for their alcohol-free offerings. it's very common to go on a cruise ship and say, okay, I want something alcohol free. And they'll be like, here's our virgin daiquiri. And they'll have the same virgin daiquiri across the whole ship, right? So virgin is put in place that each restaurant is its own entity and has its own alcohol free offering. So I didn't even get to taste all the different mocktails on board, right? So that was amazing. It's like one restaurant on board had one wine, another had another wine, and then this person had this alcohol free gin, and this person had this herbal concoction. It was fantastic. But it looks like Princess has really done a good job with their new offerings. So I can't wait to be on board with them. And it is the Love Boat. So that's,
It is the Love Boat.
it's
That's
got
so
that
exciting.
traditional kind of historical,
And without saying it, the name of it, were you actually mentioning Betty Buzz?
Blake Lively.
Blake Lively.
She's a hot topic in the headlines these days.
Apparently.
Hot topic. Hot topic.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people talking about Blake Lively on both sides. But I do love Betty Buzz. I've been a fan of Betty Buzz for quite a while. I got Tamar addicted to Betty Buzz. We actually had to
True
have
story.
almost had to have an intervention.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yep.
Yep. I might have brought a
Dang
whole
it.
bunch of cases back to Canada when I did
I
my little
remember
road
that.
trip. Yeah. I know. I asked you to come over to help me drink some. Yep.
The way you brought that into the conversation, I'm like, oh my gosh, did I just say something really bad? But apparently not. Okay.
No. I had to
No,
learn
we're-
how to
we're
open
team-
bothers with spoons.
Yeah. Team Betty Buzz over
It got
here.
bad.
Love
It got
Betty
bad.
Buzz.
That's a whole separate
Well,
episode, though.
Yeah. That's a whole separate episode because
Yeah.
she was drinking like multiple in a day and getting all jacked up on sugar. It was like a situation. Yeah. Okay.
I'm glad to hear you got through it.
I did.
She got through it.
I'm
She got
Betty
through
Buzz
it.
sober.
Good.
Somewhat.
So besides the drinks, what else are you looking forward to on this Alaska cruise? I haven't been to Alaska since I was a kid. So I don't have any memory of even going there. So to me, it's going to feel like a whole new adventure.
Okay, so our stops are Skagway, Juneau, and Ketchikan. And then basically the traveler can decide on what kind of excursions they want to do on their own, because everybody's going to have their own different taste as to what would be a fun activity. So we've recommended different excursion lines that they can do their excursions on by themselves. And then we're having 5 booked activities on board the ship. So we have a meet and greet, just everybody kind of get together on day 1. We have, of course, your 50th Golden Girls party.
Golden Girls theme. How much can I bring? Because I'm so excited. I mean, Golden Girls, I'm going to encourage outfits. I'm going to bring all kinds of little things. Like, I'm very excited to go all in on the Golden Girls theme. Very excited.
Me too. I don't have anything picked out yet, but I will. I just still can't even decide who I identify with. Maybe at the end of this little talk that we have, you guys could say, okay, this is who you should be, Darci.
Yes.
I know, right?
Save that for the end for our sober shots segment for sure.
And then one night, I think we're just going to do like a games night, like just go up to a deck where, all the sun deck chairs are, and we can just kind of gather and do a games night. And then I do have something up my sleeve that may pan out and may not, but I do have this crazy idea of doing a murder mystery.
Ooh, fun.
I know.
I love
Mhm.
that. That's
I love it
so
too.
fun.
But I'd have to pick a theme where we're not bringing too many costumes because we've already got Golden Girls, right?
Mhm.
So we don't want to be like loaded up on costumes. So yeah, I'm toying with that right now, but I think that would be a super fun activity. And
Mhm.
keep it like short, like, we wouldn't have the dinner involved. A lot of the murder mysteries, they have like a dinner involved. We would keep it kind of short.
Yeah, more kind of almost like a scavenger hunt in a way.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be super fun.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, talk to me about the connections or the friendships that you've made with all of the different sober trips that you've taken, because that's such a great way to build out community, especially if you're single. and you are wanting to just, get to know more people. So I'd love to hear about the connections that get made on your trips.
Okay. Well, typically people have kind of made connections before we actually start the trip. So, one person tells a friend and then so on and so on and so on. So we had when we went to Italy, we had a group of like 8 people, I think, that actually all knew each other before they got there. And we had people come in from Minneapolis and they joined our group. And this one girl said something really that touched me. She's like, I've only known you guys for 24 hours and I feel like I've known you all my life. And she goes, that's what's so great about traveling alcohol free. You don't have those surface conversations, right? You're not like, oh, look at the weather today, right? It's like nitty gritty, belly roll laughing right off the start, right? We all have that commonality and it just kind of goes from there. It's really a remarkable thing to watch, actually.
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, I know that when I have picked the right people to travel with, and I,
Key. That's key.
I have some favorite people to travel with where they can do their own thing and I can do my own thing and they don't get offended. But I've also done the opposite where I've traveled with people that had expectations. So I guess that is my question to you, Darci, because you're bringing groups of people. And I mean, some of your trips, I mean, they all look phenomenal, right? I mean, you guys do
Thank
some
you.
very, very, very cool things. But how do you kind of, as a host, like, I don't know if the right word is like mitigate or, how do you deal with that kind of stuff? Because let's be real, those of us who live alcohol free, sober, whatever you want to call it, we've got some pretty strong personalities. And I think when it comes to travel, right, is it just, you've got so much going on that, maybe you don't witness any of that stuff?
Oh, no.
Dun, dun, dun.
Da, da, da,
Drama.
here it is.
Well, we also have typically our strong type A personalities as well, right?
Yes, yes.
I don't know anything about that.
No.
No, I guess I've done a pretty good job. I think people feel really comfortable talking to me, and I think I do a pretty good job of taking people away from a heated situation, let them vent, and problem solving, right?
Mhm.
So it's funny that you say that, Tamar, because I do host a lot of trips. It's not like I come home and feel relaxed after these trips.
And you put a lot into that. I mean, you do put a ton of effort. I've seen you put effort, and I've only seen part of that effort.
Right? No, I do put a lot of, but it's my baby, right? This is my passion. Where I get paid, where I make my money is something completely different. So I've been doing groups all my life. The history of my travel career is I do sport team travel. So I deal with currently 18 different traveling hockey teams. So
Whoa.
it's a lot. Yeah. You might find that my posts are a little bit less frequent during the hockey season. So, and a problem solving there too. Like, not, sometimes there's spelling mistakes on passport names, and sometimes there's, problems in hotels and coaches are getting upset. So I'm used to the problem solving part of travel, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and this is where, there's something to be said for booking a trip with a company like yours or with someone like you is because have somebody who is used to dealing with big groups, with people, problem solving. And I mean, I've traveled with people where it was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do now? Like this person has high expectations. I went in sharing my expectations. Like, what do we do? So I think having somebody there to guide you and to be able to help with that kind of stuff. I mean, there's something to be said about that because traveling with a group can be very fun.
Yeah, I definitely have the expertise behind me in that experience area. So you can feel comfortable traveling with me. I'm not going to let anything happen. And if it does happen, like I said, just being a calming force within that and making people realize like we can look at it in this really negative way. Or I'll tell you this, when you come home from a holiday and everything was like tickety boo and you ended up getting a flat tire, 20 years from now, you know what you're going to remember? You're going to remember the flat tire. And you're
Hmm.
going to remember how you problem solved out of that situation. You're not going to remember the weather and the welcome dance that they did at the hotel or the cocktail they give you. You're going to remember the flat tire. So this is where the memories are created. So if you could just turn people's perspective into that, then you're golden.
All right, I have a question for you because you do travel quite a bit. I know because I follow you on social, and sometimes I'm like, I can't handle it anymore because the places you go are too beautiful, and I'm like, I'm too jealous right now. But what are 3 travel items that you cannot travel without? 3 travel items you have to have.
Have to have a journal, downloaded movies.
Smart.
It is a smart one, right? And from now on, I'm never traveling without a sleeping pill. I just went to the Maldives and it was a very long adventure. It was 39 hours total in travel. And I did
One
not
way?
have each way, yeah.
Oh,
And that's like sitting time too and driving time. It was like door to door,
sure.
right?
Sure.
39
Okay.
hours.
Got it.
And I did not take anything on the way there. And I was dummied. Like the first 3 days, I was like up at 3:30 in the morning. And my cousin who I was traveling with, it wasn't a hook trip. And my cousin who I was traveling with, she slept on the plane and she was fine. And I mean, by the time dinner hour hit at like 6 o'clock, I'm like, I can't actually keep my eyes open anymore. And that was for 3 full days. So I feel like I really lost out there, right? And then
Mhm.
on the way home, she's like, "Why don't you just take the stupid sleeping pill?" Like, okay, and game changer, just a game
Mhm.
changer.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of melatonin and a red eye. I really am. It feels like time travel. I like to go to sleep in Seattle and wake up in New York. It works perfect for me.
See, I can't
Yeah,
do that. I have done that. I have taken a sleeping pill and actually been kind of in and out of consciousness for the whole flight to Europe. And I don't know why. I just cannot sleep. Maybe I'm just so excited about life and where I'm going that I just can't sleep. I'm going to chalk it up to that.
What about your Walkman headphones, Darcy? Do those go with you?
I thought we were over that. Come on now.
Oh no, I'll never be over that. No,
It
but
was
No,
amazing.
I something I can't travel with would be my headphones. Like I can't travel without my headphones. I mean, obviously you need them on if you're on a plane, you can't watch your tablet or your phone without headphones in. But I also love the noise cancellation because it helps me like tune out everybody around me. And I don't like headphones inside my ears. Like I got a pair of the in the ear kind and they drive me nuts, but I love my huge over the ear noise blocking. I mean, I'm a real sight when you see me on a red eye. I've got the noise blocking headphones that are ginormous, the sleep mask, the neck pillow. Like I'm just like, "Ugh."
nice.
Yeah. I'd have
I've
no
never.
idea why I'm single. It's just a shock to everybody. But yeah.
Hey, well, I'm with you there. We can do the single thing together on our cruise.
Yes, we can. Yes. Well, it is the Love Boat.
It
Okay,
is
well,
so.
you know that at the Sober Curator, we love all things sober lifestyle, and we love featuring you on our sober retreats calendar. And we love to see that the sober travel is becoming such a popular topic, and people are so interested in it. So, as we kind of pivot over into talking about lifestyle in general, you know that I'm obsessed with pop culture, sober pop culture. So you talked about downloading movies before you go on a trip, but talk to me about a movie that you love or a TV show, it can be either one, that has addiction, recovery, or mental health as part of the leading storyline. Got any
Oh,
favorites?
well, what did I say? I do like the Star is Born or Star is Born. Yeah,
Classic. It's a
it
classic.
is.
All versions, but I like the newest version. Yeah.
And as far as like away from movies, I like the Mom series.
You know, I didn't watch
I
that
mean,
when it
I
was on
remember.
the air, but I watched it afterwards. And I'm like, why did I not watch this was when it was on the air? I don't know why.
I don't know why, but no,
But
I did
yeah,
really enjoy that one. And Shameless,
Shameless is great.
it was
Do you
so good.
have
He's like
you talk
phenomenal. Like how on earth could he play that for so many seasons? Right? Like that was just have a shower.
you
Yeah,
talked
yeah.
about traveling with a journal. So I assume if you journal, you also love to read. Do you have any go-to books in your Quitlet library that you can't live without, or any self-help books?
Yeah, I do audiobooks, I have to say.
Mhm.
Yeah, ever since I've gotten glasses, ever since I turned 40, it's like, okay, done. It's too stressful, right? So, when I haven't done one for a while, but I did really enjoy Glennon Doyle and Laura McGowan. We are the
Mhm,
luckiest. Is that how
mhm,
you say her
mhm.
name?
Yeah.
Um, Huge fan of Brene Brown. Yeah.
Oh, those are all top acts. All right, let me ask you a question. You've got a choice. Robert Downey Jr., Bradley Cooper. Two incredible sober success stories. We love them both. They are welcome on this podcast anytime. If you could take one of them on a sober trip, who would you take and where would you go?
Oh my! I would take Robert Downey Jr.
Hmm, me too. Me too. Okay, so you would go with Robert Downey Jr.
And I
Right.
would take him to Disneyland because
Disneyland.
I would want to like get his insider information, tell me how it really goes, or like give me a backstory to this, type thing.
Would you go to the land or to the world?
Oh, to the world.
Yes, yes. Have
Right.
you ever been to any Disneys in any other countries? Because I have not.
I have been to Japan, but I was so young I wouldn't
You don't
have no
remember it?
Yeah.
Mm. Fascinating.
Cool.
Fascinating. All right. Well, Robert, if you're listening, we would love to go to Disney World with you.
Mhm.
As we start to wind down this very fantastic episode of The Sober Curator, I like to go into the ending section, which we call Sober Shots. Tamar, let's insert some fantastic sounds here.
Okay, let's do yours.
Pew, 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 pew. All right. So what that means, Darci, is I'm going to ask you a question, and you just gotta answer. We're just going for it. Just
Sober
no
shots,
pauses.
rapid
I
fire.
wasn't versed on this, you guys.
Just like you took shots
Surprise.
before. We're just going for it. We're just going for it. Okay, here we go. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Plane or train?
Plane.
Beach or mountains?
Beach.
Sober or drunk?
Sober.
Birds or fish?
Birds.
Dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Yes,
Okay, that was pretty good.
she did good.
Well, Darci, we have your content and your information all over our site, but tell our listeners where they can find you and maybe any other trips you have coming up in 2025 outside of the fabulous Alaska cruise that we'll be going on together.
Okay. Well, you can find me at hooked-on-travel or Instagram at hooked alcohol-free travel. That's the best places to find me. 2025, I have my dry grad trip. So literally, we get back from Alaska on the 17th. And no. We get back in Alaska from the 15th. And I leave on the 17th to go to Thailand. I'm
Whoa,
back in
quick turn.
Vancouver.
Quick.
I know, super fast turnaround, but and I'm leading a dry grad trip. So we have 3 grads so far, and we're touring Thailand around, and then we're dumping the grads at a elephant sanctuary where they're volunteering for 7 days under supervision,
Oh,
and
that's
they're
amazing.
actually making their own way home from the elephant sanctuary. So they start off with a host, me kind of leading them through snorkel, kind of e-bike, rock climbing activities, boating, yada, yada, yada. Then they have this elephant sanctuary experience, and then they have the independence of coming home on their own from an international destination. So excited about that trip. I think it's really cool. And an alcohol-free wine tour we had it launched for May, but it looks like it's going to be taking place in October now. So that's something.
And where is that going to be at?
It was launched for just Germany, but I do believe we're going to be adding ending in Austria.
Oh,
So then that's
thank
happening.
you. And will that wrap out your year?
That would wrap up the year.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, we will definitely have you back on the show. to talk about more travel adventures. Maybe we'll all come on and talk about what Alaska was like after we get to experience it together. That'll be so fun.
So fun. And maybe you'll be the murderer.
I hope
Maybe
so.
she will.
I hope I'm the murderer and not the one that gets murdered, because that's kind of a buzzkill. Well, thank you, Darci. This has been incredible. Thank you for showing us that travel is even better without booze. I can't wait to see all the adventures you have coming up, even though sometimes I get really jealous that you're in these amazing, beautiful places and I'm back home working. But I'm so excited to go to Alaska with you, and anyone else that wants to join us, there are still rooms available. Is that right, Darci?
Oh, absolutely. Yes. All three
Fantastic.
categories.
Yay! So that's all the time we have. And as we like to say at the Sober Curator, getting sober matters, but staying sober matters more. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Elise Bryson. And until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep it sober. Thanks for tuning in, because let's be real, we're way more fun than your ex's drunk texts.
If you laughed, learned, or just need more of our voices in your life, honestly, I mean, who wouldn't? Hit that subscribe button, leave us a review, and send this episode to your sober or your I swear I'm only drinking on the weekends besties.
And if you have a story, feedback, or hey, maybe you just want to slide into our DMs like it's 2012, well, you know we're here for it. Find more curated magic at thesobercurator.com. And remember, getting sober matters, staying sober matters more. Until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep it sober.